Sundress and a golden smile. She's a sweetheart in a little while. And she speaks soft like a lullaby. And she just turned 23.
If people could only hear what I was saying just now.
Yep. Show is canceled.
The
just
show
like,
is canceled.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, it was
It was bad. Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, my brother, my friend, my Quenequa. See, Canadian and Quebecois. Quenequa.
Oh, damn. Okay.
My Quenequa friend. One of our a couple of last shows here on the remote virtual podcast.
That is correct. We're talking what, like a week and a half?
Yeah, and I was thinking this morning when I was getting ready for the day that I'm going to be picking you up at the airport in a couple weeks. I'm going to be actually giving you a hug in a couple weeks.
Like a physical one.
And I'm going to be eating with you in the same room. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be having an adult beverage together. We're going to be... Dude, I'm going to watch a movie with you.
We're going to sit by the fireplace outside.
We're going to become blood brothers. We're going to cut our hands open and join forces. We're going to get rings and attach the rings like He-Man and become one super being. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Why don't
we're going to... Your turn. It's your turn.
We're going to go climb that mountain to find the ring from Lord of the Rings.
You are my Samwise Ganji.
There you go. All right.
You are my Frodo.
We get it. How you doing, man?
You know, I'm doing good. And I just realized that this cap here from Pantyhose fits on top of the V8 can. Perfect. Almost perfect. That's amazing.
This publicity is brought to you by...
What does it look like? YouTube. YouTube doesn't care. What does it look like?
Spotify doesn't care. YouTube.
Spotify doesn't care either. But if you're on YouTube right now, the Pantyhose cap fits on... I'm not showing the kind of drink because they didn't sponsor us. Yeah. But what does this look like? You have A pen, B, a Sharpie, or C, you know what.
Interesting.
Which kind of leads us into a very good topic today.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know what that reminds me of? Cheating.
Cheating? Because I'm holding someone else's penis?
That's correct. It reminds me of cheating. But here's the thing. Today, I want to talk, I don't want to talk about just how toxic it is and just move on. Mm-hmm. I want us to dig deeper. Because a lot of the time, cheating isn't about sex or lack of love. It's about emotional wounds that were never dealt with. And
absolutely.
That's what I want to talk about. So if you've ever been cheated on or been the one who did the cheating, this one is definitely for you.
Tune in today. Tune in right now, actually. Turn the volume up.
Yeah, this one is definitely for you. Definitely for you. What do you think about that?
You know, I don't like the topic cheating because it's a tough topic. Who wants to talk about hurting someone? Because that's hurt. You know, cheating is hurting someone else, obviously. Mm-hmm. Cheating on anything. Cheating on a test, which I've never done.
Yep. Right.
You know, cheating in general is just, you know, it's cheating. You're depriving someone else from the truth. That's
correct.
Who likes that, you know? So
correct.
It's a good topic because obviously in today's day and age, I think cheating is more relevant when it comes to society. It's like, oh, he cheated. Oh, yeah. You know, you didn't hear that back, I think when I was younger. Maybe it was happening or I just didn't care or I didn't like really focus on it. But and then a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about relationships, we were talking about Indian weddings and, you know, different marriages that are sparked maybe religious based or arranged marriages. So you don't hear about cheating. They just kind of stay with them. I was talking to someone from a Palestinian this week that talking about his marriage. I said, how did you meet your wife? And he said, oh, I met her through her brother. And I went over and their parents asked me for, what did it say? 2 sets of gold for the dowry, you know?
Okay.
Once he got the gold, they got to meet and then they got married. And it was like it was not weird. It was a different tradition. But then I asked him, I said, because I was telling him about the podcast, and I was like, is there a lot of infidelity when it comes to those marriages and the way it's set up? He's like, no. Like, you may hear of it sometimes, but it's not very relevant, So I think Western society is a little bit more lax when it comes to it, but very good topic, because I think a lot of people struggle with it. And I think there's a lot of mental health that goes into the reasons why. So it's a really good topic to talk about today.
Well, that's what I think too. I think that, people cheat for different reasons, but most of the time I think it's internal.
Yeah, I totally agree. But can you explain more? What do you mean by internal?
Well, I think that, sometimes it's insecurity, seeking validation, fear of emotional closeness or intimacy, maybe sabotaging something that feels too good.
Yeah.
You ever seen that? People that they're like, it's just too good. So they're like, this is too good. Let me just go out there and cheat. People who use sex as a coping mechanism, trauma responses probably from childhood, abandonment, rejection. I think sometimes cheating is less about who they're cheating with, and it's more about what they're running from.
Well, because it's just you and I in the room, Pat, I'm going to ask you a direct question. Have you ever cheated on a partner or spouse?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I don't want to just because, and if this is the first time you heard the love guru cheated on a spouse or a partner, don't judge. We don't. What is that thing? We
listen and we don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yes.
By Patrick Godet. In the beginning, okay, but yes. So, how old were you? What age? What age?
Let's make something clear here. I never physically cheated. Emotional cheating.
Emotional cheated,
which is probably worse. I would think. We've talked about my relationships. We've talked a lot about my relationships. And
we have to pretend we never met when we're on these things.
Yeah, it's true. You're right.
People are listening, so
yeah, and some are new from it. This is the first episode they listen to.
Exactly. So,
this was a relationship where the relationship was really not going well. We got married. And then the relationship is going downhill like really, really fast, And I'd get home to a what do you call it? Not a colleague, but a
coworker.
No, not a coworker. When you're living with
cohabitator,
I guess. Yeah,
sure.
You're like
a roommate.
A roommate. Thank you.
There we go.
Jeez, wow. You're like living with a roommate, right? So you come home and it's like there's just no more intimacy. There's no more I love yous, no more kissing, no more nothing. And I was very young. And instead of manning up and just being like, what, this doesn't work for me anymore. Let's get help or whatever. Or it doesn't work for me. I'm going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in my head, I was like, this is going to get better eventually. But in the meantime, let me go get what I'm missing. And to me, that was emotional validation.
Yeah.
Back in the time. So, yes, I did. And what I can say is that today, the love guru that I've become, obviously, I regret that deeply. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. Now I have the resources, the tools, the confidence that if ever that happens again, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm sorry. This isn't working.
Yeah.
Ciao, bye.
Yeah. So I just want to understand. I'm not trying to attack you here, Pat, but I just want to share with me what happened for you emotionally that made you step out of the relationship. Like, what made you at that moment step out of the relationship? Can you give me some specifics? Like, I know you said it was like living like a roommate, but was it physical? Was it emotional? What was it that made you step out of the relationship without communicating in that matter?
I didn't step out of the relationship in that one.
Okay.
She ended up.
So it was instigated by her.
Correct. Yeah.
And at what was the point? Like, what process did you guys talk about? Obviously, you talked about it. You talked about what needs you had. Did you express what needs you needed from her?
No, not really. She kind of initiated the conversation of breaking up, and I was just like, okay.
Oh, she initiated the conversation about breaking up.
Correct.
So prior to that conversation, were things kind of normal in a relationship? Were things good?
No.
Oh.
No, they were terrible.
So was it a slow decline?
it was a fast decline. It was right after the honeymoon.
Oh,
so
wow.
we came back from the honeymoon and everything had changed.
Damn, son.
Yeah. Actually, at the honeymoon, it started.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So there was a lot of confusion for me. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how all of a sudden we were married. We were together for 6 years before we got married.
Wow.
And for the first 6 years, it was great. It was amazing. And then right after the wedding, starting at the honeymoon, it started shifting completely. And I was like,
I've heard that from people though.
What is going on?
Yeah. I've heard that the night of the wedding, things all changed.
Yeah.
The wedding night, everything changed.
yeah.
So the wedding night, honeymoon, things changed obviously. And I'm sure it wasn't shortly after that she said, "Hey, I want to break up," after the wedding. Like, was there communication that happened prior to that? Her saying, did she talk to you and say, "Hey, I don't think things are going well"? Like, did she say anything like that?
Well, it wasn't conversation. It was more fighting. It was more of arguing. More of arguing, of saying like, instead of just talking about it, you kind of lose your shit. You're like, what is going on? And then we'd fight like, oh, you never want this, you never want that, you never do this, you never do that. It didn't have that let's talk about it phase. It was wedding, switch goes off, we start fighting. This lasts for a few months, and then we have the conversation to break it up.
Yeah.
So, I was 24 years old. This is 13 years ago.
So you said earlier that it was emotional, which is worse. Those are your words, not mine.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
said it's worse than going out and having sex with someone, which I agree. I 100% agree. Do you think there's recourse on getting back on course when someone cheats emotionally over someone cheating, like having sex with somebody else?
Listen, I think it's definitely harder. I think it's definitely harder.
Which one?
Because the emotional. Like, coming back from that is a little harder than the physical. And let me explain. I mean, if you're doing physical, if you're going out there, you're I don't know, you're going to freaking Las Vegas. I don't know why that comes up to mind. Weird, right? You go to Vegas, you cheat on your spouse. It's a one-time thing. It's like, oh, I was drunk, blah, 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 blah. And then it's over. You're never going to see that person again. You don't even have their number. You don't have their name. You don't have nothing, right? That's like a huge mistake that could be forgiven in some cases.
Yeah.
But if you went to Vegas and the whole week you were there, you were seeing that same person, spending time with them, going on dates, being intimate, that's a different story, especially when you catch feelings and the words "I love you" come out and there's feelings to it. That's way harder to get over. I think,
because there was feelings behind it. It wasn't just the act. It was like I totally agree. Like, there's that emotional and caring for somebody else and not you.
Yeah.
And I did some homework on this episode, and it says among married people in the U.S., roughly 20% of men and 13% of women reported having had sexual relations outside of a marriage. So obviously, men are more pigs that are going out to look for sex in general.
of course,
But it still happens on both sides.
yeah.
And I really like we're talking about the emotional side and the breakdown. I think in general for a regular couple, you said that earlier, that is just like it started fading away. And we talk about this almost, I feel like it's every fucking episode we talk about this. It's communication, asking, expressing your needs to your partner is important. Now, let's reverse it. Have you ever been cheated on by somebody else, Pat? Like, you were committed in the relationship and they cheated on you.
Listen, I've never proven it, but I think so.
Yeah.
I've never proven it, but I think so. There's been too many signs afterwards that led me to believe that.
Right.
For instance, an ex, being pregnant 6 months after we broke up.
Correct.
For instance.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I do believe, and again, I'm not putting everyone in the same basket. I do believe that if there is cheating going on, I think women are a little better at hiding it than men.
Wow.
So, because of those stats, you wouldn't think that your woman would be out there cheating you. But then we found another one. We talked about this stat as well, that 51% of women have someone as a backup plan if ever the relationship was to fail. So, that's also scary. So it doesn't mean that they're cheating on you in the relationship, but nothing can prove that they don't have somebody else in their eyesight. And at the moment something happens, they have that person that they could just text and call, and they're going to be running to the door, you know? So,
well, I've read in the past that 33% of couples that are in a monogamous relationship, whether it be, you know, they're in a relationship, they're in a hardcore relationship, 33% of people have emotionally cheated, physically cheated, or both. 33%.
okay, so you see, so the stat of that one is higher than the physical.
Yeah. Like, so 33%, even they're in a solid relationship that the partners don't know, 33% of people are going to seek something and coming back to that relationship.
Right.
Still, you know, which is, it's disheartening, especially if you're in a relationship, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Which I still believe that, you know, even if you're in a relationship and something happens that jolts the relationship, you know, don't wait to get into marriage counseling until that happens. Like, you should be able to, if you feel at any point in the relationship that you're not getting out of the relationship what you feel is important to you, that's the point where you should be asking your partner to go into couples therapy, you know, because a trained therapist will give you they're not going to tell you what to do, but they're going to give you some skills and some tools to be able to use at home to communicate accordingly with your partner, so you don't have that ambition to go look for something else, you know? And when I was reading some of the statistics on women, you know, I knew the men side was going to be much higher, you know? But I think for a woman, and I'm not saying this in any way, bad shape or form towards men, but I think women, if you give a woman what they need emotionally, physically, mentally, you give a woman what they need, they're not going anywhere. Like, they're staying. Like, women are, you know, the old stat of men are the gatherers. Men are going to seek the, you know, they're going to hunt, and they're bringing the provisions home to the family, and they're providing for the family and that kind of stuff, you know. And as long as you're being able to provide, women if they feel safe, they feel safe, you know. And I think there's always that breakdown. If you're not feeling you're getting something from your partner and you're not communicating, you're on a slippery slope. You're on a very slippery slope because that man, you know, the old comedians used to say, "Fuck me, feed me, and just leave me alone." You know, that might work for some men, but for a lot of men, they need that connection. They need the love. They need that physical touch. They need the warmth to make sure that they're valued in that relationship, you know? And I think if there was more of that, and you start heading towards that 7%er feeling in a man, you know, you don't have statistics like this then.
I think you're absolutely right. I think if you're giving a woman exactly what she needs, she's not going to go. But here's the thing. What about that man that's always working? He's always out working. Mm-hmm. And then at home, you have, you know, the quote housewife.
Yeah.
That's not getting the physical touch. That's not getting the attention. That's not getting the words of affirmation. Usually what happens? She'll go out and go find it, you know? And when the man is trying to provide for his family. So, and it goes both ways. This is not, you know, I'm not saying it happens just on the women's side. It happens on both sides. So what if you're trying to do that, but life and busyness and things take over and you can't give your person everything, but you're trying? You know, it's not because you don't love them. It's not because you don't care for them. It's just that it just doesn't happen.
Yes. It's always on a surroundings thing too, I think. When you hear people cheating on each other, you just mentioned work. If they're always at work and there's a person at work that does the same thing as you, and you have to go home and hear about something that's not even relevant to what you do in life, and you know, and it's like, I did this today and the kids did this and the kids did that. You can't wait to escape back to all of that, you know, like get away from it almost, you know. And it's just sad. And yeah, it's a terrible place to be.
There's a lot of people who do it to self-sabotage as well. Like, I think that sometimes people think they want love, but then when it shows up, the trauma tells you to just destroy it. You know, it's the fear of being seen deeply. So they cheat just to create distance. It's the belief that you're not worthy. So they're going to destroy something good before it exposes you, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's me, Pat. That was exactly what I did. in my previous relationship. I did not, my mental health was at a point that I didn't know what was wrong with me. Something was wrong with me. And you know, we don't have to get into the nitty gritty of it, but of my mental health, we've talked about this many, many times. People that follow understand, but for those new people that are here today for the first time,
That's what I was going to say.
I have bipolar and ADHD, and I've been undiagnosed for 47 years, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I knew that I would go up on these up and down emotions all the time, but I was searching for the dopamine dump. I was always searching for that next big drive, and that became an addiction to me. The addiction of dopamine is very true, and I was unbalanced, and I didn't have the skills. And I wasn't happy with anything in life. And I was trying to find a way to end my life. And I was trying to find excuses at that point because for maybe years leading up to that, I knew I wasn't happy, but I didn't know, I didn't have anything to push me over the edge. It's like, well, maybe if I just do this and maybe if I just do that. I had an amazing partner. I had an amazing wife. I loved her more than anything in the world. And the one thing that I knew that the biggest hurt that I've had in my life was being cheated on. I was cheated on in the past, and I knew how much pain that was, and I knew how long it took me to get over that. And it was just a pain that it was something that I've never felt ever in my life. Someone that I loved gave love to somebody else, and it was the hardest thing for me. And the one thing that could push me over the edge, because I love this woman so much, was to hurt myself as much as I possibly could. And I seek someone else at that point to go to give emotions to somebody else to see if it could push me over the edge. And it did. It actually helped a lot because I was hurting someone so bad. I hated myself so much because I was giving someone other emotional affection. I hated myself so much that I knew that now you've done it. Now you've done it. And you are at that point. And that's when I planned my suicide. And planning my suicide was easier because I was able to call myself the biggest piece of shit in the world. I was the scum of the earth at that point.
So just for the people listening, so that to ask you the question, have you cheated on?
Yes.
So that's a question. Just so to make
absolutely.
that clear.
Yeah, absolutely, I did. And but to your point, sometimes it's not seeking better. I wasn't seeking better. I was seeking something worse to make myself. I was totally avoiding that. But I was looking for something to make myself feel worse about myself. That's poor mental health. That's very sick.
Well, here's the thing with the past 3 years that I've been working on all this stuff, right? I've realized today that there's a lot of people who chase the high of chaos instead of the safety of consistency.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I want to say that's like, I don't know if there's a stat for this, but I want to say like 80% of the time that's what it is. There's people that just love the chaos. They just love that high of doing something that's not right or whatever, instead of just finding that safety of the consistency. And I think that's why there's a lot of cheating that's going on because of that.
And it's amazing to me because in my marriage, that was the one thing that I always brought up. There was no other person that was better than her. No one. All right. And the one thing that I could do to myself was to make myself, it was literally the lowest self-worth I've had in my entire life to be able to do that. It was so hard for me to do. But I did it because it was like, okay, this is hurting them, which makes me the worst person in the world. Now you can finally end your life. Mm-hmm. Now you can do it. That's where I was. And it was sickening. It was sickening. And in retrospect, making myself understanding now where I was mentally, and it's not an excuse. It's definitely not an excuse. I'm not making excuses. But if someone is an alcoholic or someone's going through drug issues and they do stuff when they're either drunk or high, or they're doing stuff when they're under the influence, and then they get sober and they're not that person anymore. It's very similar to mental health. Mental health is something that you're not going to the bar and say, hey, give me a cup of bipolar. It's something that's ingrained in you. You can't, and if you don't know what it is, like I didn't, I just thought it was me. How many times, Pat, have we talked in the beginning days saying that I'm Italian? I went to therapy the first time. I said, "Oh, I'm Italian. This is what Italians do. This is how we act." You know, I was sick. I was completely something. I hate saying it. I wasn't wrong with me, but something was wrong with me, and I wasn't focusing on that. You know, and so you can't look at that and say you can come back from that. You can take care of your mental health. You can really get better and take care of yourself, just like someone that's a recovering alcoholic. They can take care of themselves. They understand it. And you never go back to that person. You know, every time I drink, I beat people up. Well, did you stop drinking? Yeah. Do you still beat people up? No. Well, cool. You figured out the issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, if you have been cheated on, I just want you to know it's not your fault. Like, it is not your fault. Like, a lot of times people, oh, what I do, what did I do? Da-da-da-da-da. What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? It's not your fault. Like, their unresolved trauma is not your responsibility. And being cheated on can make you question your worth, but it's a reflection. It's not a reflection of your value. It's often about their emotional immaturity or internal war. You could have been you could have been perfect. You could have been perfect, and they still would have self-destructed. So, I think you got to pay attention to those red flags that you ignore sometimes. Early on, mm-hmm. And sometimes that helps also the type of person that they are, the things they said in the beginning that you were like, that didn't sit right with me, but I'll let it go this time. Usually those signs are a good sign that later on something's going to pop back up. And I think we do a terrible job. We do a terrible job at not ignoring, we do an amazing job, as a matter of fact, of ignoring those red flags, And there's an expression that you've probably heard before, and I'm going to ask you this. Do you think once a cheater, always a cheater?
No. Well, wait. Yes. Yes and no. See, this is where, okay, I'm going to tell you, can I explain?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I say no, let me go to the yes first. When I say yes, I think it's in you. I think if you've cheated in the past on somebody, it's still within you. It's not something you can just get rid of. That's your personality. You were able to bring yourself to the point where you did that in the past. That's a trait that you have. You have those traits. Okay. When I say no, I mean, if you understand that that's what's part of the fabric that makes you, that's part of you. You are a person that could do that. If you don't take it at face value and understand this is what you could do, that's the way to never cheat again, because you understand, hey, that's a person it's in me. I don't want to be that person. I need to work on that to make sure I don't do that ever again. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. What do you say? Once a cheater, always a cheater? Yes or no?
I say no, because exactly that. Like I think I'm, not to be pretentious or anything, but I think I'm proof of that. Like with the lessons that I've learned the past 3 years, there's no way I'm going back to that.
No, but you have done it, Pat.
Yes, correct.
So
and
that's what I mean.
That's
like
where we
you
agree.
have done it. Yeah. Like that's like I'm trying to come up with an example here, but if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm never going to say the word fuck ever again.
Yeah.
I swear too much, but I'm never going to swear again.
Holy fuck. Okay.
You see, you could even wait a second to say fuck. But if you said to yourself, I'm never going to swear again because I know it hurts people when I say fuck to them, and I'm never going to say it again. Just because you say it and you're never going to say it, you probably won't. Maybe if you really work on it, you will never say the word fuck again.
Right.
However, it's there. It's still there. You know the word. You know how it sounds coming out of your mouth. You know how it makes you feel when it comes out of your mouth, So just because you say, no, I'm never going to cheat again, I believe you. I believe you're never going to cheat on a partner again. I believe myself when I say I'll never, ever cheat on a partner again. Mm-hmm. I believe that 100%. And the conviction I have behind that no is because I've done a lot of hard work on me. Mine is completely different than yours. You went out seeking another partner because your partner said, dude, I don't fucking like you anymore. I don't want to be with you. She was giving you all these indications that she didn't want to be with you. So you were like, well, fuck it. this is not, she doesn't want me. I'm going to go find something else.
Which is not the right thing to do, but I understand.
It's not the right thing to do, but that's what you did.
Yeah.
No one's saying this is the right thing to do. No one likes talking about this shit because it's hard to talk about, but too bad. Turn off the podcast if you can't listen to this because it's making you feel bad right now. Then you have an issue. If you're listening to this saying, these guys are, if you're listening to this too, by the way, right now, and you're saying, hey, these guys are both pigs and they can't believe they cheated on somebody else like that, like what, you need to check yourself too. Like, just check yourself. I understand that this may hurt to hear this, but we are doing the work to never go back to make mistakes. Every lesson comes from a mistake. Every single lesson comes from a mistake that you made in your life. We're human beings. But to say that, no, I will never cheat again is, the reason why I said yes is because it's in you. It's there. You've done it. You have to keep it at bay. You have to make sure that you work on that and communicate with your partner and do the things that led you to cheating or not be with someone in your case. In your case, if someone says, I don't want to be with you anymore, be like, okay, cool. Sign the papers. We're done.
Let me help you all get the door.
Yeah, exactly.
But you see, this is the thing. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm not even thinking about what people are thinking about listening to this episode. And what I mean by that is, like, if people are listening to the episode and they're like, oh my God, these guys are pigs, and you're still listening, because after what Mario just said, do you realize how much courage it takes for someone to get on a podcast and admit that they've done wrong and tell the whole world that they've done the work and stuff? So if you're looking down on me because I did it once, after all of this and just coming on this podcast and being on social media and exposing yourself like that, do you know how much courage that takes to do something like that? So, dude, I see this as a strength, not a weakness.
Absolutely.
We've all done mistakes. And if you can admit that you've done something wrong, like if you were the one who cheated, own the why.
Yeah.
Own the why. Like, accountability doesn't mean self-hate. It means self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
So what's missing in you that you were trying to fill? And if you could realize that, you could do that self-reflection. Dude, hats off to you. Like if you're able to do this, look in the mirror and say, what I just did is wrong. It's terrible. And you can be like, you know what? I'm never going to do this again. Hats off to you. Mm-hmm. And I don't want people listening to this who maybe have cheated to feel bad and they feel like shit. And you can get out of it.
Yep.
You can get out of it. Like, are you running from commitment or are you running for yourself? Like, these are all questions that you want to ask yourself.
Right.
Nice. What pain are you avoiding by creating a new one?
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Right.
Well, let me add to that. So you have never been cheated on, right?
I said I can't prove it.
You can't prove it. So,
and I'd rather not know.
Is being cheated or is being cheated on worse? Okay, how do I put this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let me ask you: is being cheated on or cheating always a deal breaker in couples? Can they rebuild that trust?
Again, it depends. I think if it's the emotional, very tough because maybe you fell in love with somebody else, you fell in love with the soul, and also how long it's been. This is a 2-year, ongoing thing. I don't think you can recover from that.
No,
I know
2 years would be a long time.
I know a couple that they both knew that the woman was cheating in the relationship. Like, the woman was cheating on her boyfriend with another guy.
Was it like a polygamous thing where they?
No.
Okay.
He found out. He found out, and for 2 years straight, she cheated on him, and they ended up getting pregnant together.
Who? The cheater?
The other
person.
The original.
The original?
Yeah, they kind of like just moved on. It's like they put it under
like
the
a Jerry
rug.
Springer show.
Yeah, they just put it under the rug, like nothing ever happened, and they just moved on with their life. But I think that's
I'd like to interview them.
Yeah, that's two very.
I would like to
people.
interview them. That would be a good interview because it's like, huh? Come on now. What was that now? Do you think society treats men differently than women cheaters? Like in general? If you heard like dude cheated on you or the woman cheated?
That's a good one. Yes. I think men will be viewed as a pig very, very quickly. And women are going to be like, oh my God, yeah, why'd you do it? Oh yeah, I would have done the same.
Okay. Yeah.
like, oh yeah, why did you cheat? Well, because he was never home. He didn't give me the attention I needed. Like, I need someone who's gonna love me right. And then I found this man, and it becomes like politically correct type of thing. But if it's
Really? Women say that? Women talk about shit like that?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Really?
But yeah, I think that men often do look more like pigs because it's like a reputation that we have, unfortunately. You know, I feel like throughout time, men have just developed that reputation and that's where a lot of women think that all men cheat, right? Because it's happened so many times where they've heard so many stories that in their minds, all men cheat. And I know a bunch of men that have never cheated in their lives. I also know some loyal people who cheated. I also know some unloyal people who never cheated.
Right. So you said earlier that it's not all sexual, even though 57% of divorces that happen are from infidelity in a marriage. 57%. That was a stat that I just read recently. So it's not all about sex.
No.
But do you think that if the partner that maybe is cheating, and I think there's a lot of factors here, but do you think that the partner that's cheating, if they have a greater sexual appetite, for example, like on the last sex show we talked about, I love the comments. Do you see some of the comments? Women think about sex a lot, by the way. I was reading some of the comments. But do you, oh my God, my brain literally escaped that moment that I was talking to you just now. And I went instantly to the live we had a couple nights ago when I got on your live to have a battle. And there was some dude from Africa on the bottom right-hand corner, for a random dude standing there. Remember that when we did the live?
I don't know why your head went there. Yeah.
I don't know why my brain just went there. Thank you, brain. But when say the man is, they say that men are always thinking about sex, like constantly. We're always thinking about sex. We're always doing this. What if in a relationship, if it is a sexual, not emotional enough, if they're out seeking out sex, what if in a relationship they got everything they needed sexually? Like sex was great, adventurous, upside down, whatever they wanted, dirty, nasty sex. Just like hey, I really love it when you do this, and they got that from their partner all the time. Because I think what's the misconception is men, and you could correct me if you're listening to this, men are watching, if they're watching porn, for example, and they're seeing, all the shit they do in porno videos, and then they're like, well, shit, my wife turns the lights off and, we go under the covers and we fuck,
No.
Sometimes, once a week.
We make love.
Yeah, we make love,
Yeah.
I think more people need to fuck.
Yeah.
Personally, I think more people just need to get down and dirty and get venturous one another.
But
I
heard
think
it here first.
yeah, you heard it here first. People should fuck. But I just think, like, in general, if the man is expressing, hey, this is what I like, this is what I need, it creates that emotional bond even stronger with your partner. Or if the woman says, hey, you know what, I like this. I like it when you tie me up. I want to be gagged. I like being gagged, and I just I want to feel some pain.
Okay, so what is your question though?
My question is, there is no question, really. It's more like, do you think that, okay, maybe there's a question.
There was a question.
Do you think that that's that statistic of 57% of men they're going to look for sex and it ends up in a divorce and a cheat when they're cheating on each other? Do you think if men said, honey, could we try this? Because I really crave this. And
it's not, because to me it's not just about sex. That's exactly what I was saying.
But I'm talking about sex right now.
Well, if it was sex, yeah, you definitely have to have those conversations. But I mean, with sex comes a lot of things. With sex comes vulnerability, comes intimacy. So sometimes the sex can be great, but you're still not getting what you're craving. What if you're having sex, but what you want while you're having sex is you want to be able to feel 100,000% vulnerable, and you're not getting it? Your sex is amazing, yeah, because you're gagging or whatever you just said, but you're still not getting that vulnerability that you're craving for. And so you're going to go out there and you're going to look for someone who's going to make you feel like you can be 1,000% vulnerable with them, even if the sex is not that great. That's what I'm saying. When you're cheating, is you're trying to fill up this void that you're not getting. It could be
Right.
words of affirmation while you're having sex. Ooh, daddy, you feel so good. You know what I mean? Like it could be. This could be a serious conversation.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. But I know that it's not only about sex. I totally 100% agree with you. But I think sex is a big factor here, dude. And it's not. It's intimacy. It's not sex. It's just not the in and out and you know, and orgasm. It's not that. I'm not saying that. But sex, intimacy, vulnerability, all that. Love, like in general, like that intimacy,
Right.
is a big package. I do believe that sex is a contributing factor a lot of the times, because it's like, and I'm just talking about this in men. I'm not speaking for women, but I think in men, I think if they feel like, because I've talked to the machoism guys that are like, my woman's not putting out, blah blah blah. They go to the bar. You go somewhere with someone, and instantly they're like, check out the ass on the waitress, you know, and I'm not checking out an ass on a waitress. I can see if someone's pretty, if someone's beautiful, and they come up to the table, the waitress is beautiful. I'm like, wow, she's really beautiful. You know, that's as far as it goes. But I'm not checking out like, damn, I'd love to see, you know, I'd love to see that, you know, body naked, or I'd love to, I would take her back. You know, like I've been around people like that, you know, and they're married and they have kids, you know,
Yep.
and it's like, what are you missing?
But that's not okay. So is that cheating though?
That in two guys talking is not cheating.
Okay.
However, the thought process, I would say, yes, it is cheat. It's not cheating, but it's like I'm looking at a person, someone else's ass, not me. Get this straight. If someone is looking at someone's ass, is like, damn, I would bend her over and bang her. If you say those words out loud, like, what the fuck?
But-
how can that not be cheating?
Okay,
Are you saying it's not cheating?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm saying I think this is what you call fantasies. I think this is what you call
Oh, yeah.
fantasies, right? These are fantasies. These are things that you can think of, but you're not going to act on them. I think everybody has fantasies. That's just like the woman who's watching Jason Momoa on a movie, and he's wearing, you know, sweatpants and whatever, and they're just peeking at the.
Are they gray?
They're gray.
Do you know that Jason Momoa, fun fact, Jason Momoa is from Des Moines, Iowa.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know they do.
But it's the same thing. I think it's like having, you know, a Hollywood crush. It's the same thing. These are fantasies that don't necessarily have to go through, right? It's unfortunately the way that some of our brains are made. You just fantasize about things, and it's like people who watch porn. The same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're watching porn. So fun fact, I have completely given that up. By the way, I don't know if I've said this before. I've said it on my live, I think, but I haven't watched porn for the past 3 years. I completely gave up on it. Because it got to the point where I was like, this is not real life, man. Holy crap. Like, this is
Right.
not real life. And every time I was, you know, having intimate relations with my ex-girlfriend, I was like, man, this is boring. Like, this is so boring. Like, why is she not doing cartwheels right now? You know, like, it's like, so without getting into too much detail, but I completely stopped.
Please get into details.
No, maybe next episode, part 2 of the sex episode.
Part 2.
But it's been 3 years, dude, that I haven't watched a single porn video, and let me tell you, it's my life got so much better because now I can use my imagination. I can use, you know, like I just, it really helps when you give that up. So I think everybody's got a different line of what cheating is and what cheating isn't. And I don't think that's a subject that we can argue on. Like if your line of cheating is, well, if you just looked at that ass at the bar, that's cheating. You got to respect that. Mm-hmm. If that
Absolutely.
to you, that's setting boundaries, which we've talked about before. So if looking at an ass for you is cheating and your partner says it to you, then don't do it. Don't do it. Stop right there. That's not what you're going to do. So everyone's got different lines of what is cheating and what is not. And you got to respect that.
I agree with you, but saying, like, you can't tell me that you don't go somewhere and notice someone that's beautiful.
Of course I do.
That no, you don't notice if you're looking at a woman and she has voluptuous breasts. Look at that. I said that out loud. Voluptuous. Mm-hmm. You know, she has a beautiful body and she's beautiful in general. Like, it's not going to be, if you're in a relationship, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, can I get a glass of water, please? You're going to look at her and you're going to, but it's not because you're looking at her and you're appreciating her, and especially if she's dressed pretty, or if a guy, for that matter, if a woman's looking at a man, you know, it's like people when they watch this podcast, you know, they see me and then they see you and they're like, damn, like look at Patrick, like shit.
And then
you
they
know?
see Brad Pitt, and that's the thing with me.
Yeah.
I don't. So let's get this straight. To me, that's not cheating. Okay, if my woman, if I'm in a relationship, and my woman looks at another man, and goes like, I can see it in her eyes. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Like she's just looking and like, oh, you know, she definitely
Did
thinks.
you pee yourself?
She definitely thinks that guy's cute. That to me is not cheating. We'll set that straight. That to me is not cheating. You can look but don't touch, right? That's basically what I say. Like, because at the end of the day, I know I'm not the hottest man out there in the world. I'm not on GQ magazine. I'm not on Forbes magazine. I'm not the hottest thing alive.
You're pretty good looking, dude.
Thank you, sir. You too. But we're not the hottest. We're not the hottest. We're not the hottest one out there. And so it's not insulting to me that there's somebody that's better looking than I am. But here's the thing. You know, that woman that's sitting in front of me looking at this man just real quick and saying, oh my God, like she has the maturity to say, oh, he's a good looking person. But that stops there. Bro, she's coming back with me. She's sleeping in my bed. Like, I'm proud of that. You know, she's with me. She makes a choice every single day to stay with me, even though I'm not the hottest piece of meat out there. That's my thought on that. I don't think that's cheating. I really don't.
And you don't have to say that, by the way. When I say you're good looking, you don't have to say you too. You don't have to say that. I don't need it back from you, by the way.
I'm not saying it because like you're
okay.
You're
I appreciate it if you say that because I don't think I'm anything. I'm zero special. I don't think
you're
that at all.
Good looking man. You're not a bad looking person. There's some, you know.
Right. So, but even in that, I was thinking about that yesterday when I was talking to my partner and I was like, I made pizza dough for dinner tonight, and I was going to make home. You know, I'm a chef. I'm going to make Italian pizza on the stone, and lately I've been going through this whole physical fitness regimen that I'm like watching my weight. I want to lose after I gained some weight after my knee surgery, and one of the things I came to the decision is like I'm not working out to make others look at me. It's like, wow, look at he's so good looking. I'm doing it first for my mental health. I work out for my mental health. My physical fitness is important to make sure I'm healthy, to stay I'm healthy. But I'm not going to deprive myself from having a slice of pizza from time to time because it's like, oh, I need to look good, so I can't have a slice of pizza. You know, I have to be that person that I am. So, but I appreciate when you say, you know, when I say you're fucking good looking. I seen you when you're on your lives and the lighting's right, dude. I have to I'm like, holy fuck, dude, he's looking so good. Especially when you get a haircut. Oh my God, when you get a haircut. Right after your haircuts.
Friday.
For a haircut?
Friday.
Yeah. Thank God. But yeah, when you get a haircut and you're like doing your videos and you're doing the little eye, you're doing a little eye to people, you know. But again, it's one of those things. This is not a good looking show. This is a cheating show.
Cheating show.
So
you're about to cheat if you continue.
yeah, I'm cheating on the show.
There you go. You're doing it. You're cheating.
I'm cheating. What about, have you ever heard in relationships where people give each other a hall pass? You know?
Yes, I have heard that.
Because the hall passes and like when you mentioned earlier, when I mentioned polygamous marriages, people that have, or swingers.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about you, dude, but that I can't even think of it. Like, that's not me. 7%ers don't give people hall passes. If you're ever in a relationship and they are a 7%er, they're not going to give you a hall pass. There's no swinging allowed. And unless you're on a swing and he's pushing you, or in your bedroom, if you have a swing, if you're into that kind of shit. But yeah, swingers and polygamy, I can't. I can't even fathom it.
Again, we listen and we don't judge. Because
I'm not judging.
For you, it doesn't work. But for a lot of people, it works. And
good.
You know,
good for you.
And good for you, exactly.
Yeah.
I think of Neo. You know, Neo. So Neo, you know the singer, the R&B
From
singer?
Matrix?
No.
Oh.
The singer, the R&B singer, Neo.
No.
Neyo. No. Okay.
Sorry.
So he came out, I think, 1 or 2 years ago, saying that he was polygamous, right?
Oh wow.
And he's got 4 wives, I think, 3 or 4 wives.
Damn.
And he basically lived his whole life not saying anything about this. He was like keeping it like the biggest secret of his life. And then you talked about communication. Mm-hmm. And he decided at some point that was it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to communicate this the best way I can. And he came out publicly about it. And he made it very clear with his 3 or 4 wives that this is how it was going to work. And he made sure everything and everyone was comfortable with that situation. And he's making it work, you know, for him. So I think
he came out. Why? I wonder. Why did he come out? Just to stop
hiding.
stop hiding.
To stop hiding. I mean, you're living a lie at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like anything. You know, someone who's gay or lesbian, and they live their whole life not saying it because they're scared of judgment. I guess he was just tired of living, and he just said, you know what, I'd rather say this and not stop living a lie, so I could live my life than lie about it all the time. Can you imagine as an artist too? Always hiding that
Yeah.
stuff. You're being seen with a different woman every single time. No, that's not it. They're all his wives. You know, and I agree with you. I mean, it's a different way to see things, but for some listeners right now, that's the way they do things, and it's the way they do things to stay in healthy relationships, which is weird to say. But for them, that's how they stay in healthy relationships. And instead of cheating, they make it very clear. So do I respect that, or do I not respect that? Because at the end of the day, they're not cheating. They're making it very clear that they're not cheating. So if you take that away and you'd put them in a situation where they're just with one partner, chances are they are going to cheat.
Cool.
I'm not trying to convince you.
I get it. I just, to me, it's a foreign language. It's like I don't judge someone for speaking a different language, but it's a foreign language to me. Like I could never speak your language, but maybe with some practice. No, I could never speak your language.
You don't have
that
to.
one.
You don't have to.
But I accept it and for what it is. You know.
Here's what I love about this. The word that comes to mind is honesty. If no matter what your situation is, if you're able to be honest, whether it's staying alone or being in a polygamous relationship, whatever it is, honesty is what I appreciate here. Just be honest. You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Don't toy with my emotions.
Exactly.
Don't play with my emotions.
And exactly. So for all the cheaters out there or people that cheated and things like that, it's not, I want to remind everyone, this is not a sickness, right? It's not a sickness. You can actually, it's like an alcoholic, it's like a drug addict. People that cheat usually are searching for that dopamine, and cheating is a system. You know, what's the wound? What's the wound exactly? You could do the therapy, you could do the inner child work, you could do the shadow work, you can do reflecting on relationship patterns, not just one incident. You know, try to build emotional regulation and communication. You said that so many times to do that, and I think that's what we got to learn here. So that's why that expression of once a cheater, always a cheater, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I really do think that if someone, a man or a woman who really wants to get out of those patterns, can definitely put in the work and never do it again.
Yeah,
I'm 100%.
And it's you know, on either side of it, I think it's an attack on your self-worth and trust and everything else that goes both ways. Like you have to communicate, you know, whether you're the cheater or the cheatee. Is that what it would be?
Makes sense.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it. This is our podcast, so it doesn't matter.
We decide.
Yeah, we decide what we say. But, you know, either side, there's that trust that's being destroyed. I think even in that person that's cheating, they know they're cheating. It's not like you're like, oh, I didn't know. You know, it's like they know you're cheating. You know you made the mistake. And again, I said it earlier, lessons come from mistakes. If you don't learn from that mistake and you cheat again, well, then you're not learning. Now it's becoming a pattern. You know, what were you going to say?
I was going to say a paper. No, I'm just kidding.
Paper. Close.
I'm just kidding. I was going to say a pattern, but that's the thing. You just said it. I think you're going to keep breaking people until you stop running from the version of you that's still broken.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like we're always finding the best version of us. You know, the Patrick I know now is not the same Patrick I knew when I met him. The Patrick that knows Mario is not the same Mario. You know, that's one of the things I was talking to with my therapist yesterday. And he said, "How are things going in general?" Like we were just talking about the ups and downs, and I said, "You know what secures my mental health or makes me feel that I'm really proud of myself is when I talk to others that have bipolar or ADHD, and they say all the things that they need and that they need in life, and then I help them. Like I encourage them, like maybe try this and maybe try that. Okay,
yeah,
and they continue to do the same things day in and day out. It shows me how much work I've done in my life, and shows me how much my journey and my new version of me is so much better, and I'm so proud of me. I haven't said that in my life, really. I haven't said I'm proud of me, you know, and
which is
I'm
sad
telling
when
him,
you think about it.
Oh yeah, more exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like when I cut out all the bullshit that I thought I needed in life, and just realized, I don't know how many episodes ago we talked about inner peace, but it's like you start feeling what inner peace is. You're not going to go out and cheat. You're not going to go and look for something. And that relationship is going to be amazing, and it takes time. But even in people that are suffering with mental health issues that are listening, and if you have bipolar and ADHD like myself, it's really about finding the small things. Finding the small things that bring you joy is the biggest thing. I remember my first therapy appointment was the difference between joy and happiness. Remember we talked about this a long time ago? Like the joy is the long term and the happiness is that instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
And start building joy. Start finding what your joy is. And I mean, it's a better way to live, and communicate. Shit. If you're thinking about cheating, the first thing you should be doing is couples therapy and communicate.
I have questions for our listeners.
They're listening. They have no choice.
They have no choice. 3 questions. Number 1 is, what do your past relationships say about your wounds? I want everyone to do a little bit of self-reflection. That would be number 1. Yeah.
Number 1. Question number 1. What is it again?
What does your past relationship say about your wounds?
Okay, that's question. Ding. Sorry, my bad.
Question number 2.
Question number 2. Please pay attention.
Have you ever been emotionally unfaithful, not just physically?
Like, wait, I'm not dinging yet.
Okay.
Whether it be a phone call, a thought, a text, that kind of stuff.
A touch.
A touch. Ooh, okay. Ding. God, my voice.
And then the last one, are you actually ready to be loved, or are you still scared of being seen?
Wow. Ding. That was a good one. That was a solid ding on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to see in the comments today also, if you could, if you've been cheated on, like, maybe describe the situation if you're willing to describe what happened. And, because in all these episodes, we kind of pull these topics out of our ass. And we kind of think of like, what are people wanting to hear from what we talk about on a weekly basis, And so the more you comment, the more you talk about things. And there's a couple of comments in the next couple of weeks. I have a couple of shows that we have planned for when we're live in studio from comments from the past, some things that we haven't talked about. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be fun to talk about those things. And we want to hear from you on what you're thinking about when you're hearing us two guys talking, Yeah. And again, what are we doing? We're communicating, even though it's on a text. But we're trying to figure out the pros and cons on what we talk about. So why are you smiling?
Because I'm just thinking 2 guys, 1 podcast.
2 guys, 1 podcast.
Yeah.
What is that?
No, it's a terrible joke.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a terrible joke. I'll talk to you after the podcast.
Really? Okay. Now you have everyone thinking. Now that's the only thing people are going to want to listen to is what you're thinking about right now.
2 guys, 1 podcast. Guys, cheating is never justified. I want to end this episode on that. Cheating is never justified, but it can be understood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say. It can be understood. And if you want to stop repeating the same story, you have to stop slipping the pages that were pain in your lives.
Right. I totally agree with you. And have more sex. I mean, that's always a good one.
Just get honest. Is really get honest.
That's the thing. And ask your partner your needs. Get your needs out. Like you're giving 1 shot here, people. Like you're only given 1 shot here on earth. And if you're in a relationship where you feel like you need to go seek something else because you're not getting it and you're not communicating, shame on you for not communicating. And if you've been cheated on and you're feeling that pain, like, like it's like Pat said, it's something that you have to move forward from. You need to move forward from.
This thought is also going to hurt. Do the work before you destroy something that could probably heal you.
Wow. That's okay. We're turning into Nostradamus now. Now we're just getting. If a tree falls in the forest, it's not your fault.
But you know what I mean? Like, do the work before. Because here's the thing. You don't know how life is, right? You don't know how life is. You could meet someone that could be the love of your life, that could heal you, that could help you. And if you do not do the work, you could lose that opportunity. You
Absolutely.
do not want to do that. So
Word.
go get the help before you destroy something that could heal you.
Word. Okay, everyone, that's our time. We're at 1 hour almost, and an hour always flies by. I feel like there's so much more to say. But the nice thing is that we're going to be right back here wherever you're listening to us or watching us right now, or if you're watching us, you're on YouTube. But we're going to be back here next week at the 6 a.m. Eastern time on Friday mornings. What?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. I thought you meant the recording. I was like, what?
No. We're excited to be in studio. So if you're on YouTube right now, if you're not on YouTube, go look at our YouTube and take a mental image of what you see. You're going to see two guys in two little screen boxes, and Pat's waving. I'll wave too. But that's what you're going to see.
Last time.
In the coming weeks, we're going to be live at Bossman Studios in Minneapolis. We are excited to be in studio. We're going to have some nice guests with us, but really it's going to be Pat and I in a room talking, and it's going to be great. We're so excited to be in studio. And that's going to be a big difference, but we're going to film a lot of episodes when we're together, and moving forward, our episodes are going to be in studio, which is going to be amazing. So no more of this. I'm going to throw this thing away.
Do I have to bring my headphones?
No, not at all. You have to bring nothing.
Are we
You
going
have
to
to
be
bring-
using headphones?
Yes, we're going to be using headphones. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but the room is dead. It's a dead room. It's silent, so you don't need headphones. I think headphones are more, like in a situation, like headphones are used, like if you're listening to something like, hey, watch this, like there's a screen behind us to say we're going to watch a video on TikTok, hey, let's watch this video on TikTok. Then headphones maybe would be relevant because, but headphones are really not relevant.
I thought the headphones were so that. No, never mind. This is not my. I'm not good with audio visual stuff because I've seen podcasts that don't have headphones. They're just next to each other talking.
You don't need it.
Okay.
You don't need it. You don't need headphones because you're in the same room.
Right.
I mean, if we were in my living room right now talking, we wouldn't have headphones on. We'd be just talking, right?
Right.
The headphones, the audio engineers should be wearing headphones so they make sure the mic's working and stuff like that, But I don't think headphones are really needed, and it's up to you. There's headphones on the table. If you want to put headphones on, go right ahead.
No,
I've watched Rogan. Rogan doesn't wear headphones.
No, they don't. Yeah, they do.
Sometimes. Do they do all the time?
Nope.
Yeah, sometimes they put headphones on, sometimes they don't, So, and what is it, Two Bears? I don't think Two Bears wears headphones. Bad Friends.
Logan Paul.
I don't watch his.
No, he doesn't. They don't wear. But hey, let's do one without headphones. I've always wanted to do an episode without headphones with you.
I think when we're in studio, we shouldn't wear headphones. Why do we need to wear headphones?
I don't know. We'll be together.
No one has seen my ears. No one has seen your ears.
Exactly.
But yeah, so a couple weeks we're going to be in studio at Bossman. I've been doing some footage with them. They're trying to get their name out there. Bossman is an amazing studio, so we're excited to work with them.
Yep.
Pat, thanks for this topic. It was a really good topic. It was hard to talk about, but for you listeners, again, we're not judging, but just send us some comments. Let us know what you think about this show today, and continue to follow us on all your platforms. You mentioned one platform that I've never heard of before. You're like, follow us on your lives. You're like, follow us on YouTube, Spotify. You said like Virgin or something.
Virgin Radio.
Did you say
aren't we on Virgin?
Virgin Radio?
Yeah, like Virgin podcast or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
It's, if you have Virgin Radio, you can listen to us there probably. But iHeart, Spotify, Amazon, everything that you listen to. And continue to follow us. Continue to share our podcast. We're two men saying the words out loud that most men don't say. Sometimes we get hate for it, but for the most part, people love when we're using those words for most people. I'm starting to fade off. But have a great day, brother. Have a great weekend. Everyone, have a great week. Be kind to one another and continue to love and be kind to one another. And that's our show. Pat?
Love you, brother.
Love you. Have a great day.
Peace out, buddy.
Bye.